when my little brother came over to visit me for a week, he didn't take any days off. So he actually just worked 9 to 5 the entire time he was staying with me. And because his workplace is on the West Coast, he was actually working noon to 8 p.m. So we couldn't even do anything after work. Because he would finish work at 8 p.m. and I'd be like, wait, I need to go to sleep for my stuff. And so we just lived our individual normal lives in my apartment. And it... like, I didn't even go out with him on the weekend. Because the weekend that he was here, I was like, okay, fine. If you're working during the week, I can hang out with you on Saturday. No, he had a coding competition on Saturday. So he was like, oh, I need to borrow your computer room for 5 hours to do my coding competition. I was just like, shrugs. I guess that's where that day went. But it's okay. I adore my brother. He's just a guy, man. He's just a dude. Hey, bro, pay attention. I'm like, yeah, like, dude. he paid money to fly all the way over to be where I am because we don't like live close. I'm EST, right? So he like crossed the central United States for this? All for nothing? Oh well. That in part that is what I adore about him though. He's just a funny lad. Bonding, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, exactly. But in a way, it is good to have people where you can just, like, be in the same room doing your own thing. Instead of always having to have an activity, you can just, like, do nothing and have felt together. And perhaps that's just an introvert thing, though. But I'm an introvert, my brother's an introvert. It runs in my family. To an extent, I actually don't think my mom is very introverted. She claims to be, but I'm really confident that she's not. Activities are for bonding. No need for bonding if you're already bonded. Just existing is good enough. Yeah, I guess so, right? Ideally, with family, or just like someone that you've known long enough that you just naturally get along with them. You don't need like additional activities, right? I just need to verify that my brother's alive and existing. Which, shockingly, is something that I do need to do. You may be like, I don't know how necessary that is with family in the modern era, where we have things such as the internet and text messaging, but no. Occasionally, I do need to make sure my brother's alive. Your mom might have been an introvert, and it just got distilled into you and your brother. It's true. Maybe my brother and I absorbed it out of her. Like osmosified, the introversion osmosified out during our gestation period or whatever. But my dad is very, very introverted, so I actually just think it came from him. I don't want to say this, but I don't think my dad has friends. Or rather, I don't think my dad would have friends if he was not also married to my mom and if they did not like grow up in the same neighborhood. Because my dad does not have friends that he doesn't also share with my mom, if that makes sense. Because they grew up in the same town and everything. So they've known each other since like literal childhood. And I think if my mom wasn't there, he would not have maintained any of those individuals as friends. Which is fine. Sometimes you gotta find someone like that for you, I guess. I was so proud. This is very rude to say, but I think I'm allowed to say it because I'm his older sister. I was so proud when I discovered my brother had friends in college. I was very worried that upon becoming a somewhat independent semi-adult, he would become unable to like bond with people that he didn't already know from elementary school. Because all of his high school friends were people that he knew in elementary school. So I'm like, I don't think I trust you to make friends in your late teens, early 20s, but I don't know, maybe he could do it. But apparently my brother has nerd riz, which, I mean, you guys all like him, so maybe that's just true. He has funny aura. Your dad went the childhood friend route. He did. And my dad's actually younger than my mom. So I think my dad also had nerd riz. My dad skipped a grade, which is like unusual for, I guess, where they lived at the time. I think he was the only one in like my parents' friend group that ended up marrying someone older than him. Also, hi, Oko. To be fair, you have a friend you haven't talked to in a few years, but if he's ever in town, you know it's time to have fun and party. Yeah, I'm like that too. But all my friends know that I'm like a low contact friend. Like, I don't really talk that much, but if you're in town, I will always go hang out with you, and it will be the same as the last time we met. Like, I don't have, what is it? Friendship decay? Some people, which is very understandable, it just doesn't apply to me. Some people are like, if we haven't talked in a while, we are less friends than if we talk regularly. But for me, like, I just pick up where I left off. Because I'm just not thinking about it. So I'm, like, not really aware of how much time has passed, so it's the same. Reasonable. Yeah, it is. I think it's a reasonable sibling worry to be concerned about if your younger sibling was able to make friends in college. Did Peri mom woo Peri dad? I think it just... so this is my impression. I've never actually asked my parents this. My impression is my dad was the least insane of the people that were going after my mom. She once got a love letter written in blood. And she was like, all of these men are crazy. And I think my dad was just like well-behaved and normal, I think. Easy to control maybe because he was younger. My mom kind of runs the house. I'm sorry, what? Yeah! There was a guy when my mom was in college. I think it was, they would throw like a letter in maybe like a ball or like with a weighted thing at her window in the college dorm. And she had roommates and stuff, so at least she wasn't like experiencing this alone. But a guy would throw letters at her window and it would be in like red ink. And then at some point, my mom and like her roommates were like, I think this is not ink. I think this is blood. I don't know how they shook him off, but I know that they did eventually. Because my mom is like, she's good with that sort of thing, and she had roommates, so they like probably all handled it together. But it was still like terrifying. That was back when being just a normal, tolerable guy was enough. Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that my parents would have gotten married if it was nowadays. But I've told you guys this, right? I think if my mom grew up now, she would be an Instagram influencer. The more that I watch my mom interact with her phone, the more that I'm really confident that that would be true. She might be like really annoying. My mom's not annoying now, but I do think a lot of her traits would lend her to be absolutely insufferable in the modern era. And she has purely benefited from the fact that she was born in like, I don't know, the 60s or 70s or whatever. So your mom could have been a VTuber? You know, I don't think my mom would have been into anime, which is really devastating to think about. Because like, how can I say this? My mom is too competent to need anime as an escape mechanism. Not to accuse weebs of being lacking of certain traits. As a weeb myself, I think she's she's good enough with people. She can figure things out on her own. I don't think she would be into it. Whereas I think like maybe one of my aunts might be really into it. I can see like my older aunt being a K-pop stan, and then my younger aunt could have been into anime, or like I guess I have 3 aunts. One's older than my mom, one's younger than my mom. So the one that's older than my mom, I think would have been into K-pop. And the one that's younger than my mom, I think would have been into anime. And then I think my mom would be doing the I want to be a niche internet micro-celebrity influencer route. I think my mom would be a relatively charismatic online personality. But I don't know. I don't think it's actually good for her. But I think she would be good at it. But I'm not. I'm merely her child. I'm literally not her mom, so if she ever decides to do that at her current ripe old age, I will support her. But I wouldn't plug her stuff because then you would know who my mom was and that would be weird.